Hey y'all, it is May 2nd. And yes, I got my safety machete with me. All right. We're entering a safe space tonight. I thought I would check up on y'all, see if you're accomplishing your goal. I'm trying to hold y'all accountable. Out there trying to be lazy and stuff. Man, I got a clipboard. All right. We're going to have a checklist. We're going to find out about you. You've been slacking off, I heard. All right, but on this side over here, we're continuing the streak. I don't know if it's like 2 or 3 days long of continuous live streams, carefully documenting what is the last day. And of course, I don't know what the last day is. I don't know how long these last days are going to take. But it's also World War III. It's the end of the country. It's going to be a civil war. I heard about it. They made a movie about it. Who goes out to the movies in America? When I was little, a lot of people did. A lot of people liked it. I don't know. If I know anybody who does go to the movies, I bet you that they're embarrassed, and that's why they don't bring it up. They're ashamed of themselves, and it's like a little perverted little vice they have. Go to the movie. But apparently there was a movie out and it got Alex Jones real riled up. Alex Jones didn't like it at all. And I think it might be called Civil War. I think, and I think it has that Kirsten Dunst in it. Kirsten Dunst getting old, but we're all getting old. I remember when Kirsten Dunst was a young little thing, you know what I'm saying? But I was a young little thing back then as well. Getting old. We're getting old. I haven't seen the Civil War thing, but yeah, that's true. We're in that too as well. But of course, I would assume they're trying to program that sort of outcome. It's like what Oprah called, what does she call that? The law of attraction or something, where you make a board of all the things that you want, like, the rulers, the ruling class. They made a movie about the kind of civil war that they would like. It's a bit retarded. That's what I heard. What the hell were we talking about, buddy? All sort of calamity, I'm sure. Speaking of goals, I was responsible, and when I checked off my checklist today of goals, things that I should have done, I got a lot of them done, buddy. I got a lot of them done. A game. I didn't memorize a new song, which I haven't done for some days. Ever since I made up the goal, I haven't done it. I gotta work that in there. Gotta work that into my itinerary. Not part of my goals, but recently, I don't know why, but I've been playing Beethoven and I've been playing Mozart and I've been playing all sort of different composers. And lots of times there's no words in their music, or they have some words that are like some language. I surely don't understand it. Right? So I got my main goals that I have been getting done. I got them done again. But there's some goals that I didn't get accomplished. Like, for example, I didn't get on X. And I want to make a habit of getting on X and saying outrageous things, but I haven't gotten into that mode yet. I don't know just how outrageous, what style of outrageous to get on X to see if I can get a little bit of a feedback. I've never really gotten feedback hardly on X. And I heard that they even banned Maytre Mark already. And the thing is about Maytre Mark is is that he'll make you ban him probably. Right? Did he break the rules? Did he break the terms of service on X? He probably didn't, but I don't know for sure. But even without breaking the rules, he'll make you ban him. All right, just like me over here. I got a machete. What's the deal? A lot of goals I got done. Some of them I still have yet to get done. But one of them, and I'm a little bit proud of myself. I don't even know where I put it right now. I'm gonna have to really look right now. All right, I might have to get off the camera right quick and take a gander. But one of my goals or to dos, my short term goal list was to write into my notepad. Let me get up real quick and find this here notepad. Yeah. In fact, I got two notepads. So I got one little notepad. I wrote some gibberish on it. It's gibberish, cryptocurrencies. And then I got one big notepad. All right, and I've been had these, but I had to like dig them out of a place, and find them. But I mean to utilize them. I'm proud of myself for doing it. I think it'll make me much more effective and capable having these here notepads. Like, for example, the little notepad I could take with me on the go. And then when I'm out and about, and if I learn something, or like something worth knowing or remembering, go ahead and I'll write it down. For example, earlier today, I wrote down capricious because I've heard the word capricious a lot. Maybe you have as well. I don't really know what it means. Capricious. I just kept going along with my day and pretending like I know what it means. Never knew what it meant, but I found out what it means. In case if you're curious, it says given to sudden and unaccountable changes of mood or behavior. All right, so if you can imagine that, synonyms are like fickle, inconstant, and changeable. All right, again, given to sudden and unaccountable changes of mood and behavior. The reason I looked it up is because Robert Malone, he's a doctor you might have heard of. I don't believe he's related to Carl Malone, but still American legends in their own right. There was a Robert Malone, and he's been on lots of stuff, I'm sure, but Joe Rogan, to include Joe Rogan, probably everybody saw him on there. And the reason I looked up capricious because Robert Malone, he had used the word capricious, and he had used the word capricious to describe the 6 feet rules and arbitrary and this and that, and just made up. And we'll show you COVID lockdown. So Robert Malone was saying, and he said a lot of things. It's very interesting. He was talking with Alex Jones earlier today. Be worth catching. It was all pretty dang interesting, that's for sure. One interesting point that I came away from it was, and it sounds typical. I don't know it's true, but it sounds very typical. Is that Donald Trump is still all about those mRNA potions that are gonna save your life. He's talking about, oh man, it's gonna cure every little bit of cancer up in you. These potions, and I'm gonna warp speed them into your veins. It's a little bit unsettling, right? Because most people in America who want America to continue. They're probably going to vote Donald Trump, right? But at the same time, he's over here talking about magic potions. He's like, I don't know if you call him a savant or whatever. Like, this might be the man that could single handedly kind of make things flow in our economy that would be good for our pocketbooks. At the same time, he believes in magic potions that he's going to warp speed. Like, I mean, of course, not force them into your veins, but he loves these magic potions. And I don't know what to make of that. See, we're on a wild ride. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what Donald Trump does and does not think about the potions. What matters is we're on a train and the tracks go off of a cliff. That's what matters. Right? It's terrible, and I don't like to just keep bringing it up, but it is the case. I brought that up, and I wrote it in my notepad. Okay, the little one, and that's for when you're on the go or whatever. For example, if there's a word capricious, for example. Earlier today, I wrote down Malthusian, which I've heard a lot before, and I know it's a bad name to call somebody Malthusian, but I really looked it up. I wanted to know what was the Malthusian. What is that? What's Malthusian theory? What are these Malthusiasts up to? All right, apparently, Malthusian theory is the theory that the human population, get this if you didn't know this, the theory that the human population grows more rapidly than the food supply until, of course, famines and war and disease swoop in to save the day and protect the earth from the disgusting, horrible, terrible human beings. This Malthusian theory is that, I'll just stop on this point real quick, is that humans is kind of like the exact opposite of of my theory, the Girardian theory, as they refer to it. It's the exact opposite of a Malthusian theory. So the Malthusian theory obviously assumes that there is no God. That's just an assumption that has to be right off top, because the theory is that humans breed faster than food can be developed on Earth. Now, I don't know if these Malthusiasts or whatever, if they know how big Earth is, or if they understand that God would be able to create more food. But see, there is no God, and that's why you think, okay, well, only disease, because we don't have enough food, and all these human beings eating up too much food. Got to get rid of them. And so, I wrote that down. It's kind of interesting that most vegans, whether or not the definition exactly lines up, most vegans are probably Malthusianists. If they don't want to admit it to you, they probably would like to see big portions of human population die because it's good for the earth. That's Malthusian. All right, so I got this big notepad as well. That's for like when I'm not traveling, for example, but also if you want to write clear, coherent thoughts or whatever, or just a lot of words, I got a bigger notepad. So on the notepad, I got a few things that I wrote down because I didn't want to like forget things or be stumbling and fumbling and mumbling like our dear President Joe Biden. So I wrote down these things, little notes about stuff, because it's May. It's May the 2nd, 2024, and this date and time. This is what's going down. A lot of mumble jumble. You had, of course, like I mentioned, Robert Malone. He was on with Alex Jones, and he doesn't. I don't think he thinks we're going to make it, but we'll find out. He also said Donald Trump is tripping, slipping and tripping, and he's going to vote for Donald Trump. But the guy is slipping and tripping. It's like, dude, how many people? It's like people creating rallies and all this. How many people do you have to get to come out and scream at this guy's face and tell him just shut the hell up about these potions and we don't want any potions? Because it was seen to me that there has to be a constituency of people who are for Donald Trump. And honestly, you're crossing a line if you're for Donald Trump, right? So those people are willing to cross the line and still be for Donald Trump. However, they'll get magic potions. Why? Because Donald Trump told them to. So it's wild. It's wild how that's working. All right. We were just talking about Malthusians. And if you're a Girardian or if you subscribe to Girardian theory, it's that we all need to make babies as fast as we can. Now, I know I'm not over here making babies, and that's a damn shame. When I make babies, dude, they look good, right? I make babies good. Y'all should wish that I was making babies right now. It just makes sense. But however, I'm not. Damn shame. But it's Girardian theory that basically we need to make as many babies as we can possibly make. Do whatever. Get rid of laws that are in our way. Get rid of I'm talking about adult man, adult lady making babies over and over and over and over, and we're gonna have 10 of them or something. I'm talking about litters of kids. All right, it's not unheard of. This stuff used to happen all the time in America, but not no more. It seems. So that's Girardian theories that you have as many babies as possible, and if you're doing that, if you're successfully having as many babies as possible, and you're having more babies than say like your surrounding countries and your competing countries, you are going to overtake them eventually. Eventually, you're going to be able to defeat them economically and everything else as well. Innovations and technology eventually will take over. All right, we could break down the molecular science behind this Girardian theory, but the theory is pretty damn simple. If you live in a society that's like the opposite of ours, in which the main focus is make babies and bring up these babies correctly. In Girardian theory, you wouldn't be able to help but have success. The more and more people you have, the more and more babies you're having, the more and more success you're going to have. To include innovations, to include technology and everything else. To include your economy, and especially your economy. Your economy relies on it almost entirely exclusively. This Girardian theory, and that could be wrong, but that's the theory. The theory about Girardian theory, and it's somebody up in the building, I see him, but holla at your boy. The thing is about Girardian theory is it's assuming that there is a God and that our God is great. So, every country should strive to have more and more babies. That should be their number one priority above all else. All right, and then believe it or not, because a lot of people ain't gonna want to believe it. The Earth will grow. The Earth will grow, and if the Earth didn't grow, the vegetation that's coming out of it would just get bigger and um, more bountiful. Meaning we would never have to worry about, oh, if there's enough food. You notice how in the Bible, the God of the Bible didn't say, oh, you had to worry about if there's oh, y'all gonna run out of food. He didn't ever mention, man, y'all make babies, spread your seed, go spread your seed and prosper and conquer the earth, but make sure you don't have enough. Make sure you don't have any babies because I'm only one God. I can't make more food. What do you think I can make more? It's like these people, they're Malthusian in theory. They think they're very smart because they want to just make sure that God doesn't exist in their mind. But it's not smart. It doesn't make any damn sense, right? We've never gotten to, never in the history of this world have we had so many people that's like, oh man, everybody's successful. We all have jobs. We all have good mental health. We're all like living in houses and stuff, but we ran out of food. I guess we ran out of, we found our planet capacity for food making. We reached it. Ain't that terrible? So, like, that kind of ties into a man, one of the men who's the handler of Joe Biden. I would assume he has multiple. There's a man by the name of Larry Fink, right? A man by the name of Larry Fink of a certain persuasion. I'm not going to go any further, but I want Larry Fink. I heard a soundbite of him only today talking about, a society that has less babies. Now, this is a spit in the face of my theory, of Girardian theory. He said a society that has less babies is going to be more successful because they're going to be like worried about the fact is they don't have enough babies, and or they're going to like have so much free time on their hands because they don't have babies, that they're going to be able to like invent stuff better. They're going to be able to like service their economy better. It was all gobbledygook. It's coming from a man who handles all sort of money. I don't know how many children Larry Fink has, but he says if we have less children, we'll be more prosperous. That's the exact opposite of Girardian theory. All right, now I'd like for him to go ahead and try to prove it. Of course, they're trying to prove it right now. Right? There's a couple other things, a few other things that I would like to talk about. And I want to get y'all's feedback up in the comments section. Um, like for example, who is a Cybertruck for? Or what is a Cybertruck for? What is it for? I realized I could be like checking out videos and really diving into it and really, really finding out who's driving Cybertrucks, why are they driving Cybertrucks, from Tesla, the Elon Musk big old Cybertrucks. And I've seen them around town, especially around my part of town. I've seen a Cybertruck like 3, 4 times. I don't know if they're different Cybertrucks or if it's just the same one I'm seeing. My question is, who drives a Cybertruck? Why? Why do they do it? I'm not trying to be like facetious. I had to look up even what facetious means, but I'm just saying it's like who drives one because I'm seeing the people who are driving them, and everyone who I see, without describing them really, every single person who I see driving a Cybertruck does not look like a person who drives a truck. You know what I mean? Like I'm from Texas. A lot of people drive trucks, and they especially look a certain way. None of these Cybertruck owners look like the typical truck owner. And then I think to myself, okay, I would assume, and I could be wrong, I would assume that this Cybertruck is not like built for off-roading, right? Doesn't seem like an off-roading type of vehicle. The drivers of them don't seem like off-roading type of drivers. And all sort of weird stuff. They're having all these complications, or maybe they are, maybe they're not. Maybe that's just propaganda. I don't know, but I've heard about it. Some kind of like errors in the Cybertruck, having to take it back and fix out all the kinks or whatever. I saw a man earlier today, and he was referring to whatever it is, that thing that slides over the bed of the Cybertruck, that black cover. And I was looking at that man. He was on like TikTok or whatever. He did not look like a man who drives a truck. But it's like apparently $100,000 truck. Where are people getting $100,000 from? And why are they getting this truck? And there could be a very good reason, or very, very good reasons. I don't know what they are, and I want to find out. I'm gonna have to look into it very, very strongly. I'm gonna have to look into it. But there was some sort of effeminate man earlier today telling me that he couldn't close the cover because it's like you got buttons and stuff for that. It's all powered. And he was like, "Dude, I can't close the cover. Cybertruck bed or whatever." And that was like a problem. That seems like a problem. Yeah, you can't close it. You want to close this powered. It's nothing you could do besides sit there and it won't close. It seems inconvenient. So the video kept going on, and apparently he found out, well, if you wait 5 minutes, what happens is the motor heats up and this and that. But if you wait for 5 minutes, that the motor will cool down on that thing that goes above the bed of the Tesla. Said, and then you could close it. He said, so it's not a big problem. He said, it's interesting. I'm watching this man on his TikTok video, and he's showing me his Cybertruck. I guess just to show me that he has a Cybertruck. Right? And he's like, "Oh, look, I can't close the cover. What the hell? What's the deal with this, man? Oh, man!" And he's like showing me, showing everybody. And then, like 5 minutes later, he's like, "Okay, just so that y'all know, the cover it does close. You gotta wait 5 minutes. It's gonna cool down, and then you can close it, and whatever." And I thought to myself immediately, well, that's a very, very big inconvenience. If you want to do something in America, it's like, dude, we're trained to be able to do it right away. Unless it's unreasonable, unless you're just playing ping pong with the damn thing. I mean, you should be able to open it, open it, close it again. It should be no problem. All right. But 5 minutes later, he gets on the video and he says, "Well, don't worry about it. I can close it now. And so what? It's whatever. It doesn't mean anything to me." And the thing is, I was like, if it doesn't mean anything to you, stop shooting this video. Don't even post this video. Said it doesn't mean anything to you. He's like, "Oh, it's no big deal to me." He's like, imagine if you were in a Cybertruck and you were trying to take your family out, right, for a road trip. That's what he was saying. That's paraphrasing him. I'm paraphrasing. He's like, "Oh, what if you wanted to go for a road trip and your whole truck bed was all filled up with stuff, and then you couldn't close the cover? How would that make you feel?" And I thought, man, this is real gay, but I was like, man, I don't want to be difficult, but the thing is, I don't even think Cybertrucks can take road trips. I'm not trying to be an asshole about it, but like, how far can they go? Can't take a road trip. What are you doing taking road trips with your family in this truck, dude? Like, what is this truck for? Where did you get $100,000 for no good reason to buy a truck? And what are you doing with it? I don't get it. Um, so only a couple of more things, two, three more things that we got to talk about before we get up out of here. All right, shout out to whoever's in the building. I see ya. Here's the three things rapid fire, just so you know that we're about to cover. Number one is Boeing. Have you heard of Boeing? They're about airplanes and stuff like that. It's a lot of money. Apparently, it's a second whistleblower, and everybody's heard about it. You probably heard about it. A second whistleblower. And I read a little bit about it. I don't know anything about it really, but I read a little tiny bit about it. The second whistleblower, another whistleblower for Boeing. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm talking about people blowing the whistle on like inferior or low quality products or not up to spec, if you will, not up to spec. There's a reason, there's plenty of damn reasons, uh, mainly health and well being, that, products that get put together and made into a plane, that they should all be up to spec. But these whistleblowers be talking about, man, they ain't up to spec. What are you talking about? They be letting anything go and everything. It's just all willy nilly, and it's not good. It's not good for you. So a second whistleblower came out talking about that. I forget what his name was, but I read a little bit about him. See, the thing is about the first whistleblower is that was kind of interesting. Of course, some of the details that come out about it since, some of the type of details that have not yet come out about this second whistleblower for sure. It's going to take time. But on the first whistleblower, and I forget his name as well, but he was shot up, for example. He was shot up. And he said that, to people he knew, hey, I'm not going to kill myself, so that if anything weird happens. And then he got shot up. So that's a bit of a weird coincidence. I mean, nobody from Boeing got like arrested or anything. So but I don't think anybody's investigating that whistleblower and his untimely demise. So now there's a second whistleblower. See, this is a little bit different, and I don't know any of the details hardly, but allegedly, reportedly, this second whistleblower, if you hadn't heard about it, I'm gonna name off all the damn topics, but I didn't. Okay, so the whistleblower, he died of a blood infection. A blood infection. All right. We're gonna talk about that here in a second, but also before we get up out of here, we're gonna touch up some of these anti-Semitism laws, because that's a big scandal. These anti-Semitism laws and bills that people are trying to pass, and also Ryan Garcia. I don't know if you heard about him today. Our man, Ryan Garcia. We got to talk about him before we get up out of here. They're hating on our man. Let me just say, all right, but I'll tell you why that is. I don't know if you heard about it, but they're hating on our man, Ryan Garcia. And I'm almost agitated about it. I'll find out just how agitated I am. But yeah, Boeing whistleblower. So this second whistleblower guy, allegedly he dies of MRSA. For the people who know MRSA, blood infection. And for the people who remember, actually, I had a blood infection a year ago. I don't mean to keep bringing it up, but it was a blood infection, and so it kind of relates. All right. In fact, I do vividly remember one of the nurses or one of the doctors telling me that I had caught this blood infection. Got pretty serious. And they say, there's two, I don't know if it's main or more popular. The most popular of blood infections is like two of them. What she explained to me, she said, there's the kind that you got, and then the other kind's MRSA. And she said, this is not good, but she's like, consider yourself lucky didn't get MRSA. And then I had to go through these surgeries and stuff, so I'm very lucky, but remembered that. I remembered, oh, if I would have had MRSA, probably would have been a lot worse, or it would have been worse for sure. All right, so this whistleblower comes up with the MRSA. I wonder what people think about it. I wonder what I see up in the comments section regarding the second whistleblower against MRSA. I know we're all conspiratorial. We're all conspiracy minded over here. All right, but I want to hear, I want to know. It's like, okay, this guy allegedly got a blood infection, much different from the other guy who got shot up. All right. I wouldn't figure it's like, okay, imagine if they have a blood infection weapon or something that they can get at you with. I just don't think that it would be the same person. I could be wrong. Maybe it's not a blood infection weapon. Maybe he caught a blood infection. Or maybe that does happen to people. And then maybe he died suddenly. I don't know how these blood infections work. See, I want to bring up one thing. And I don't know anything about this guy, this whistleblower. I can assume he's got family members who care about him. I saw, stuff in the news where they said, we love you forever. I think his name is Joshua. Said, man, we love you. Joshua Dean? Yeah, that's popped in my head, but we're like, we love you forever. So you assume that, okay, he has family. This man has family. He's a 45-year-old man, apparently in great health and stuff like that. He had a family. That's what I kind of found interesting because, okay, and referring back to, say, my blood infection when I was getting all sick, um, unbeknownst to me, and I really didn't know it, and I was really kind of out of it. But later on, people told me I looked like I was dying, like I was fixing to die. And this was in the days leading up to actually like went numb and stuff. And then I look at pictures as well. I took selfie pictures. I look back at the selfie pictures and I'm like, damn, dude, fuck's up with you and your face all like that. So in my face, it looked like I was all messed up. Now my mind, it wasn't really clicking. Like, oh, this is very serious. I'm in a very bad way. And so it does make me wonder, other type of infections, perhaps a MRSA infection, perhaps it could be way different. I simply don't know. Do people die suddenly? Perhaps they do, especially if they caught a blood clot, especially if it messed up their heart, got a blood clot, some whatever. I don't know what happened. We're gonna have to find out. It's gonna be an investigation, but I have all these questions because I simply don't know. You just die suddenly? I mean, how bad off did he look? Because with my personal experience, I was in bad shape for days and days. And so certainly more information is going to come out about it. What's interesting is that there's probably going to be more information comes out about this whistleblower and stuff. But regardless if it does or if it doesn't, one thing you could take to the bank is that the parts on a Boeing airplane are probably not up to spec. Is there going to be something done about that? Hell no. The world you're living in right now. So, anti-Semitism laws. I just wanted to bring that up right quick because they won't shut up about it. It's like, okay, I think I said my piece. I could be wrong. I want to hear all the anti-Semitic things that you could possibly say up in the comments section. Of course, I want to hear that. But I believe I've said my piece about it. The problem is that they won't shut their freaking mouth about it, and that's all that they talk about. And they won't stop talking about it. Like, dude, I'm not a Republican, never been a Republican, certainly not a Democrat, or I don't know that I'm anything at all, to be honest with you. I don't know if I'm comfortable calling myself Aryan. I don't know if I'm comfortable with all that. Okay? I don't want you putting me in boxes, all right? But they won't shut the hell up about these. And it's Republicans. These Republicans out here. And I'm not talking just about Ben Shapiro, but that's what the kind that I'm talking about. Over here saying the word anti-Semite this, anti-Semite that. Oh, it's anti-Semitism. Oh, you hurt me. And meanwhile, I can't explain enough that in where I'm from, I don't even know Jewish people. I'm from a city that's so big it's filled up with strangers anyway. It says Jewish people here. I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't make no damn difference to me. If you're gonna come around talking about anti-Semitism and stuff on the internet, making bills and stuff, all this hate speech, all this hate speech can't be tolerated. It's just disgusting, dude. People can't help but get all conspiratorial when y'all just like cannot shut that mouth, man. And it's like you had to quiet everybody from talking about you. And it seems clear as day. Anybody paying attention, it's like, okay, y'all have crossed this Rubicon. And when I say y'all, I don't mean, of course, all Jewish people. I mean, y'all Jewish warlords out here always looking to start some shit and always looking to crush people and keep people down. Y'all Jewish over there, y'all are playing around with words. You're using words wrong. You're calling us anti-Semite. It doesn't mean what you're saying, but you're making up words. And it's like, okay, it's like they sneak in. From what I understand, and this could be wrong too as well, but they sneak in and they do their like, you can't talk about Jews, can't talk about Jewish people. Not one person. You can't talk about one Jewish person. Even if you don't even mention that he's Jewish, you can't talk about a George Soros. Let's just get it out of the way. George Soros. Don't talk about George Soros or his son, and if you do, you hate all Jews. And y'all are about to make a damn clan and rally around and start gathering up Jews. If you don't like George Soros, if you don't like his little twerpy son, then of course you're in the clan. You're about to go round up some of them Nazis, whatever. And it's real complicated. It's real complex and stuff. But from what I understand, it's a big enough faction of this so-called Republican Party. This Republican Party that I never trusted to begin with. They're over here, and their allegiance is not to America for sure. If you say, oh, I think your allegiance might be to something besides America, they say, well, you're talking hate speech against my Jewish back stuff, and so you should go to jail and be arrested. And then you turn around and you say, what about the First Amendment? What if that's and I can freely speak it? They said, well, you can freely speak it, that's for sure. We're all about that. We're conservative, but however, your bitch ass needs to go to jail talking anti-Semite talk. And it's already bad enough, but as we figured out, and that's really what's the big problem. It's like they've been programming us for a long, long time, talking about you better not say nothing bad about us. You better not say nothing bad about us. And then I'm over here in San Antonio. I don't even know any Jews. And I'm not saying nothing bad about no. I've just not been saying nothing bad about them. They were like, okay. Recently, they were like, okay, get this. Y'all can't even don't even say the word Jesus. Don't say the name Jesus. Don't say Christ is King or anything like that. If you say anything from out the Bible in the New Testament, you hate Jews and you're anti-Semitic. We need to hunt you down, buddy. And that's all what I pretty much understand of what's going on from it. And Alex Jones says, and I forget which, there's, I forget, I need to look it up. There's there's all sort of these Russian uh, socialist, communists, whatever. I think it's Lenin, and I could be wrong. But like, there's other people like Stalin and stuff like that. There's plenty of jostling for power back in Russia back in the day, and I forget if it was Leninist. Don't quote me on this, but if it was Leninist, it was some sort of communist faction. Alex Jones was saying there was some sort of Russian Trotsky. That's it. Yeah, look that up. I don't know if it's true. Trotsky. There's some motherfucker named Trotsky back in the day, and apparently Trotsky and his clan of people were so egregious that they got like ran out of Russia. I'm trying to see if I can understand this all correct or if this is even accurate. But those Trotskyites, they done got ran out of Russia, I think by something, or it could have been Lenin. Anyways, got ran out of Russia. And the story goes, get this, those Trotsky people, they got ran out, right? But they got money and stuff, and they got like they're resourceful. So they wound up in different parts of the world. And one place where they wound up, these Trotskyites, according to Alex Jones, one place where they wound up is pretty much taking over the Republican Party. Now, I don't know at what point they did it. All right, perhaps the Republican Party organically came up and really, with Abraham Lincoln and stuff like that, really became like a thing. But at some point or another, the whole Republican Party was took over by those Trotskyites, if I understand correctly. It was infiltrated. And so those Trotskyites, you know, ever since back in the day, from the people where they come from, they're communists to the bone, meaning they want to hurt you real bad. And they want to figure out different ways that they can hurt you and take advantage of people because they're communists. Or, I mean, there's some like, apparently a communist ran them out. So it's hard to say that they're communists. They're just like anti human people. And so these Trotskyites, you know, they don't like conflict because they'll get like their ass kicked. I mean, in a literal sense, you know, these type of people, they don't want smoke because they're usually little squirmy type people. I mean, he's very, very old and it's kind of punching down, but think of a Mitch McConnell, you know, the evil turtle. He doesn't want to have an altercation with anybody ever for the rest of the time. I mean, he would like just, he would like break down into dust right in front of our eyes. So think kind of like that, but with a lot of money as well. And they want to hurt you real bad, but they know that they got to play the long game. So they infiltrate the Republican Party, and they're all. It's kind of. If I understand correctly, It's behind the scenes. They're secretly communists. They want to, in the back end, help the Democrats who are openly communists, but they also want to seem like they're the opposition of the Democrats, in which they're not. I mean, it's like loyal opposition, and they're in, and they got allegiance to something else. For example, some of these Trotskyites might have this Israel thing. They love Israel so much, and they might. There's plenty of people who I've seen, and they're like, okay, Israel in America forever, and we have our reasons, and it's biblical, and this and that. Israel in America. If you don't, if you're not with that, you can hit the road, Jack. There's some. I know some people who I even see on YouTube that are like that. And it's like, to each their own. You can have that opinion. You can have that opinion. But over here in America, uh, in the time that I was born, coming from where I'm from, I don't have one single reason on earth to have allegiance or even care very much about a country all called Israel. It's like I have nothing to do, I have zero to do with any of this. You're saying, oh, but you're a Christian over there and Judeo-Christian and stuff. Don't you understand the allegiance? No, I don't understand the allegiance. No, I don't. It's like, okay, you can't say stuff from some straight up out the Bible because now that might be anti-Jewish hate speech, even though you supposedly got free speech. And do I understand it? I don't think I understand it. All right, but it's Trotskyites, right? They had infiltrated the Republican Party, and I'll have you know, these Trotskyites, it's a cult or whatever. They're trying to get over on everybody, but they're also that they get down very homosexually, and that's how they get down, right? So you know that you're in their club. And Alex Jones said that, if you're in the Democrats, you're probably going to turn that up a notch. You're probably going to get even more wild and crazy. These Trotskyites, they just, they like the fellas. It's a lot like the man Dwight Howard. It's like they're not gay. It's just that they want to get some of that meat, some of that sirloin steak. They just want some of that T-bone. But they're not gay though. They're just communists, right? The last thing that we want. Oh man, there's more than that. Gosh darn it! I completely forgot about the Fiesta of Bullets. The freaking stream is called the Fiesta of Bullets. How do I do this? See, it's one of those things that I got to work on, right? And I don't feel like I have too much to work on. I mean, this is all about having free flow and stuff like that. But if I call it a Fiesta of Bullets, then I talk for 55 minutes, I don't even mention that. That's irresponsible, isn't it? I don't know why you're up in the building, but it's like, dude, maybe you got coaxed into the building because you wanted to hear about this Fiesta of Bullets. I'm sincerely apologizing for that, and I messed you around, and I gave you the runaround. And since we're supposed to be doing live streaming every day, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to really, really talk about it tomorrow. I'm going to really, really get into the details about the Fiesta Bullets or whatever, having to do with Chaos Key over at Fiesta, which is, you should know by now, like a traditional San Antonio thing. Every early spring they got a Fiesta, except for that 1 year for COVID, and then they canceled the Fiesta. See, I wasn't going to Fiesta, all right? I'm a local San Antonio. You're not gonna catch me at Fiesta. See, you weren't gonna catch me at Fiesta for a long time, but when they had that COVID, the next year when it sank in, they canceled it. They canceled Fiesta. All right. And so whatever little respect I have for it it's been gone. They canceled Fiesta. The whole thing is outdoors basically. Canceled it. And then the next year, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the next year they tried to, I don't know if they did it. I don't remember. It was like a bad dream, but I'm sure I can Google it. They tried to have the Fiesta in summertime. Maybe I'm just making that up in my head, but I seem to remember that they tried to have Fiesta in summertime. And if I had to explain to you, well, it's not, it doesn't sound enjoyable at all. Summer in San Antonio, but they tried to because they're retarded. It's like they want their money and they're retarded. It's ridiculous. But anyways, Ryan Garcia, he's our man, right? I mean, I haven't heard anything less in the comment section. I believe Ryan Garcia is still the man. Recently, the past day or two, he's been up in the news. Why? Well, they said he was on PEDs. You know what that means? Performance enhancing drugs. We're about to run out of time here pretty soon. We're almost about to hit the time, but um, so I can't, without going into it too much. They said our man was on PEDs. They named a couple of them. Some names I never heard of before, or whatever. They said they popped them for these two PEDs. It's all kind of interesting. Well, like I say, of course, we're conspiratorial around here. It's terrible, but we are. All right. And so there's a lot that could be questioned about this popping up of the performance enhancers, right? Like you can come from one angle and say, oh, I knew it. This Ryan fella's all over the place, and he's willing to do anything. And he probably did these performance drugs because willing to do anything, even cheat to win, right? So a lot of people are going to come at it from that angle. And it's hard to argue that, yeah, that seems like a plausible way that this that seems plausible. All right. Then there's other things to consider, like for example, Ryan Garcia called bullshit on it. Now, of course, he's going to call bullshit on it. I don't think anybody's going to fault Ryan Garcia for calling bullshit on it. But the thing is, considering the timeline, for example, I mean, time is flying by like I don't know what, but for example, you might be surprised to hear that Ryan Garcia, he won that boxing match like 3 weeks ago, right? A long time ago. I don't know how many days. A long time ago, he won this boxing match. And so, legitimately, you're going to come at me. You're going to come at Ryan Garcia and say, oh, we found you dirty. Now we found you dirty. It's more than 2 weeks after the fight. It's damn near 3 weeks. And so he calls out bullshit, and he goes on further and says, well, isn't it interesting? You go visit Donald Trump. All right. And so that's where a lot of other people come from. A lot of conspiratorial minded people say, hey man, you make a visit to Donald Trump, you might go back in time and pop dirty on your little drug test. and then they try to smear your name and stuff like that. I don't know how many ramifications going to come of it, to include financially. I don't know if like any of the money, or I don't know how that. I'm going to look into it. I don't know if anything changes about it by saying he came out dirty for performance enhancing dread. Trying to villainize our man Ryan Garcia. I can't blame Devin Haney necessarily, because it's the thing to do. It's the smart thing to do, I guess. But Devin Haney came out on social media and was talking about, I forget what exactly he said. You know, that typical thing like, oh, you know, Ryan Garcia, he let the fans down. He let boxing down. He let my grandma down. He gave her COVID. It's just like he's going on about like that this is a moral thing. Oh, look, he let the fans down. Oh, he let all y'all down by resorting to these performance enhancer drugs. He let all y'all down. First of all, that kind of relies on the theory that everybody's of this childlike mind, and maybe they are. Everybody's of some sort of naivety, and they think about their little sports games and the guys that they like on the sports, and they say, those guys never ever would cheat, never ever, and this and that, and they got to keep it by the book and all this, because it's nothing but Boy Scouts doing these sports games, right? And that really is what makes me kind of, I'm like, ugh, I'm all grossed out by that, because it's very childlike. I would like to say, all right, it's very naive to think, oh, we've caught everybody. Oh, they're carefully and diligently catching anybody who gets on these performance enhancer or whatever. First of all sort of rampant corruption, assuredly. Secondly, from what little I understand about all these performance enhancers, you'll change a molecule even just slightly, and oh, it's a different thing now. Oh, it's cat and mouse. It's always cat and mouse with these drug tests, performance enhancers, or whatever. You change it up a little bit. Oh, now the test can't find it. Oh, now we got a new test. Oh, you change it up a little bit and do something over here. Oh, the test can't find it. You don't think that's happening all day, every damn day in these highly athletic competitions? And I also do want to point out, like for example, in boxing, and I wonder how many people would agree with me out there. But in boxing, performance enhancers are not going to make you capable of beating, say, a boxer who's much, much better than you. If there is a boxer who's much, much better than you, it's going to wind up beating you anyways, even if you're on performance enhancers. See how it's like, I mean, boxing is very skilled. And might I point out that everybody's experience that night, unless they get brainwashed, everybody's experience from that night was still lit, and they had the time of their lives watching Ryan Garcia wearing that crown, talking that shit. And nobody's experience has been dampened by that, or by this news. This news. And I'll go further, like I've been said, and say that performance enhancing drugs might as well just go ahead and let them have it. Let them have at it. All right, we gotta get up out of here because we ran over time. I don't like talking very loud. Past a certain point, people might want to go to sleep. And I don't know how much they hear about it, but tomorrow we'll talk about the Fiesta bullets. The thing that I promised you tonight, and I reneged on it. We're gonna talk about it tomorrow. But just as like a preview, I'll have you know that Reddit, my man El Nino, he introduced me to Reddit. Reddit freaks me out, you guys. Reddit is filled up with all sort of people who I'd never ever want to meet. And those people are just typing and typing away to their heart's content. All sort of crap I don't ever want to read. But it's so expansive that Reddit also has people who are very diligent investigators. And I'll have you know that I saw on Reddit. So before this news came out, I'm looking at a news article. Title says man arrested with semi-automatic rifle at Market Square hours before the shooting that we were talking about at Market Square. This is a different man with a different rifle. He got caught at that same fiesta party in which other people were decided to shoot each other up at. And get this, we're going to cover it in detail tomorrow. But it says this, days before these two incidents that I just described, for those two incidents, another man was found with a revolver. Shot was heard in Market Square crowd, meaning he at least shot up in the air or something with his revolver. That's a totally different person. That's three people at least. Now, before this article was even written, or maybe as it was written, maybe in the same time, maybe in real time, somebody was telling me on Reddit, dude, there's been all sort of gunplay at Fiesta, dude, and the news is like trying to hide it or like they don't want to talk about it. They're like, dude, it's gunplay all over Fiesta, dude. I couldn't believe it. But the news is trying to hide it. Well, they're not trying to hide it now. The news is talking about it. A lot of gunplay over at Fiesta. Is that going to change the way Fiesta is from now on? I don't know. I'll write y'all about it tomorrow. It is May the 2nd, 2020, 2024.